Good morning, India. And breaking right now for our viewers in Telangana is the total number of confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus, touching a count of 114 in India. Yes, the details are coming in right now at our studio. Also breaking right now is the total shutdown of Telangana, including all schools, colleges and events as a preventive measure against the novel coronavirus. Authorities just revealing that the Chief Minister insists that there is still no need for panic. This morning, we also find out that India is trying its best to halt the deadly virus in stage 2. Also arriving fresh at the CVR English news desk today, the Supreme Court has also decided to limit its functioning to halt the spread of the deadly COVID-19 virus. And also, crisis in the banking sector is still refusing to end. Last but certainly not the least, COVID-19 has finally managed to rattle the entertainment industry as well, with hoaxes popping up online in the form of fake headlines about celebrities who might have it in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. From CVR English, live at Jubilee Hills, Tuesday, March 17th, 2020, this is your Good Morning India. So if you have grabbed your cup of chai, let's get right to that first breaking news, shall we? Now, once again, as it is my habit always, I have a fresh set of newspapers that have arrived at my CVR English news desk right now, and I have been cramming my eyes through them page by page before coming online for all of you. Friends, according to my latest observation of Toy, Hindustan Times and Deccan Chronicle from 17th of March, Tuesday, the coronavirus is once again making the top headlines. Yes, whether we like it or not, the novel coronavirus is once again back in the news, as the state of Telangana has finally ordered a complete shutdown and an immediate shutdown in schools, colleges, clubs and theatres. The Telangana government yesterday became the 9th state in the country to shut down with immediate effect most establishments in the state that see large public gatherings. This move was announced by our Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao after a cabinet meeting as a preventive measure to check the spread of the coronavirus. This closure order has directly affected all the educational institutions, let me tell you, starting yesterday. Clubs, gyms, the zoo, cinema halls, bars, pubs and all kinds of public meetings such as conferences and seminars and public swimming pools are also going to get affected because they have been ordered to shut down with immediate effect. KCR has confirmed that each and every educational institution, right from the primary schools up to the university level, would remain closed till the 31st of March for sure. However, let me tell you that the teaching and the administration staff of all the private schools right now in Telangana is still expected to report for work. However, this move does not apply to the ongoing CBSE board examinations in the state right now, and these will continue as per their original schedule, with special sanitization measures being taken place in all the schools where these examinations are going to be held. At the same time, what about the IT sector? Well, the IT firms at Mindspace and Brightspace at Raidurg have also been ordered to work from home. However, normal places like hotels, shops and offices, the airport, railway stations, bus and the metro stations will continue to function as usual for the time being. At the same time, the total number of confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus in India has now touched a point of 114 this Tuesday. In Maharashtra, the total number of confirmed cases has jumped to 37 after the confirmation of 4 new cases, and this is one brand new headline which has cropped up in my latest copy of the Times of India today. The country is slowly moving towards a complete shutdown as more and more state governments across the country are ordering the immediate closure of schools, colleges, malls, cinema halls and even discouraging the people from attending large public gatherings. One new case each from Ladakh, Odisha, Jammu and Kashmir and Kerala have also been reported recently, according to the Health Ministry officials. However, this number also includes the 13 people who have been discharged by now. These are the people who have recovered fully, and 2 fatalities which occurred in our country recently. the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and one of the prime doctors from US President Donald Trump's coronavirus task force, Dr. Anthony Fauci, recently spoke to the media persons about testing for the coronavirus and what is exactly being done to protect the people across the globe. I'm sure all of you would also want to know where we are exactly in India in this moment right now. We are seeing so many school closures, events are being cancelled, and a complete change in how we are actually living our own lives. How bad is this going to get before it gets any better? Now, Dr. Fauci says that it will certainly get worse. It is certainly going to get worse before it shows any signs of improvement. And the kind of mitigation and containment strategies that are being employed in our country right now, well, they focus on the physical separation of the people, which is quite an effective strategy in the containment of this novel viral infection. If we look at the pattern of the viruses, and particularly these types of RNA viruses, and even look at what's going on in China, Italy and South Korea right now, you go along like this, the way we are. And then you have a big spike, according to Dr. Fauci, a big spike that goes way up. And then after a while, after much disease and suffering and death, it tends to come back down again. Now, the purpose of all these mitigation processes is to get to that peak and then to blunt it so that it is a bit of a hill as opposed to being a sharp mountain. We are at a critical point right now, more so in some regions of the country than in the others. But in general, if I say, the kind of measures that are being adopted by the several state governments right now will hopefully make that blunting of that peak so that we can save a lot of lives and illness. But just to be clear, we as a nation, we as India have not peaked yet. So we still have to wait for that peak to arrive, and only after we reach up to that peak can there be any chances of slowing down and going back down to normalcy once again. That's what Dr. Fauci has to say according to his research and according to the research which has been conducted by the doctors panel of the United States President Donald Trump. So are we working towards a global shutdown of our very own country? I know that this question is bothering most of us, including myself, and I'm sure that all of you who are watching me at your television screens right now also have the same question running at the back of your minds, isn't it? So we have an answer for that, and Dr. Fauci believes that we are not headed in that direction, as that would be really rather dramatic. So let's not expect Telangana and Andhra Pradesh to go into a complete virtual lockdown, because that is going to be a very extreme and a very dramatic move. But the governments right now will respond as and when things evolve and expose themselves over the days and over the weeks. In another scientific update, we have come to know that the most vulnerable group to be affected right now is the elderly group. And this is the group which comprises people, men and women, who have surpassed 60 years of age. So these are the people who are beyond 60 years of age, the elderly group. And we are seeing all these school closures happening around us, all around the country. So shutting down the schools across Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, is that the right move for the children and their families? That is a question which has been rattling my mind, and I'm sure that once I speak about this question, it will start to rattle your minds as well as you watch me on your television screens. According to Dr. Fauci, and when he was asked about the same question, well, he responded and he said that it should be done. So the closing of the schools and colleges should be done, but in a very balanced, proportionate way. In general, he feels that it is quite an appropriate approach. What people need to understand is that even though by now, according to scientific research, it is pretty clear from our experience that children and young adults usually do very well for the most part because they have a strong immune system. They are not the most vulnerable people, but they do get easily infected. And if they do get infected, and the crowded atmospheres at the schools and the colleges and the universities is the perfect place for that to happen, then they may do very well for themselves. But then they have to go back home, and then there is a grandmother or a grandfather or an uncle or an aunt or the mother of the father, for instance, who actually have an underlying condition that will make those people more vulnerable than the children and the kids. So that is the reason why schools and colleges have been shut down. Not so much to protect the youngsters, because the youngsters can manage very well because of a strong immunity, but more so for the elderly people who are staying at homes and families, because once these children, once these young adults come in contact with these elderly people, then the chances of the transmission of the COVID-19 increase and they become very high, and ultimately it is the elderly people who have to suffer and not the children. So the move to shut down all the schools till the 31st of March comes at the right time, and I must say that it is quite a prudent decision taken by our Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao right now, as it will strongly contribute towards the effective containment of the COVID-19 infections which are happening so rampantly in the state. Also arriving fresh at our CVR English desk just now, as I can see, well, we have something coming out fresh from the oven at our desk. What I can see for the first time ever, Lord Balaji Hill Shrine, which I am sure that all of you are also very well aware of, atop Tirumala with the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams, or TTD as we call it, has finally decided to cancel some of the daily and the weekly rituals, as well as restricting the congregation of the pilgrims for religious events over this novel coronavirus threat. Now, when asked, when questioned, the senior TTD officials on Sunday said that never, ever in the history of Tirumala had the TTD authorities resorted to such strict contingency plans such as this. Well, that comes as quite of a shocker, because never ever has such a decision being taken by the TTD authorities, and the decision is about curtailing the religious practices and cutting down on the weekly and the daily prayers. This has never happened, but for the first time it is beginning to happen at TTD because of the coronavirus. Sad but true, sad but still essential. Needs to be done, keeping in mind the overall health of the community, keeping in mind the overall safety of the people at Tirumala. Another remarkable headline tells us that India is currently desperately trying to halt the spread of this deadly virus in stage 2, according to the Director General of the Indian Council of Medical Research. Yes, friends, India currently is in stage 2 of the COVID-19 outbreak, a stage where the disease transmission is limited to those with a travel history to the affected countries and others in contact with the infected persons. And our government's efforts are geared towards halting or at least delaying the progression to the next level. The Indian Council of Medical Research Director General Balram Bhargav has told us recently. After stage 2, let me tell you, just to keep you aware of the scientific circumstances and how things work as far as disease spread and disease containment is concerned. So after stage 2 comes stage 3, where the disease starts to spread gradually through the local community on a local level from person to person. This is followed by the menacing stage 4, when the disease takes on the shape of a full-blown epidemic, when the ongoing transmission shows no clear endpoint. So China and Italy right now are suffering from stage 4 of the COVID-19 outbreak. That's for you to know. And as far as India is concerned, the progression to the next stage, which is stage 3, may eventually happen, but by delaying it, India is making itself better prepared to localize and contain this current situation. Dr. Bhargav says that India currently has around a 30-day window to halt the beginning of the community transmission of COVID-19 cases. So the time to act is now. Or if we want to be more specific, then the time to act is within 30 days from now. Yes, my friends, within the next 30 days, which is within the next month, we need to take strict, stringent actions and measures to make sure that the COVID-19 infection is effectively contained in our country and we are not surpassing stage 2. And even before I can close in on the coronavirus updates, I am getting some fresh ones at the CVR English studio from the Health Ministry right now, stating that as of now, Tuesday, March 17th, let me tell you, the government today has banned all the travellers from the European Union, Turkey and the United Kingdom in order to further curb and contain the COVID-19 infections in our country. So let's be safe, friends, and let's be alert. Let's be together in this fight against the coronavirus. And as we all know, if there is a problem, sooner or later a solution is inevitable and will arise, will emerge in the form of a powerful vaccine which can tackle and beat this virus right in its infancy. So keeping our fingers crossed, Let's wait for the scientific community to get back to us on this as soon as possible. Meanwhile, over the last weekend, we also saw our government authorities constantly requesting the masses to avoid all kinds of public gatherings to reduce the risk of the coronavirus infections, obviously. However, we have come to know that even the apex court of India, the Honorable Supreme Court, has got affected because of these circumstances which are existent currently in the country. Even the apex court of India, the Supreme Court, on last Friday, which was 13th of March, decided to cut down on its work and limit its functioning from yesterday, which was Monday, when it reopened after the absolutely enigmatic Holi celebrations which were taking place in the country. Now it has decided to set up only a limited number of benches, and that too to only hear the most urgent cases to prevent any possible spread of the novel coronavirus. This move will, however, postpone the hearing on three key national issues which are bothering the country right now: the faith versus the fundamental rights, validity of the Citizenship Amendment Act, and the centre's decision to also abrogate or scrap the Article 370 from our constitution. Well, that was all about the coronavirus and the kind of impacts that it has been making in the country recently. Well, let's quickly move on to the banking sector because we need to stay abreast with what is happening with Yes Bank currently. Quickly making our way to the next headline, where we are currently witnessing an ongoing crisis. But going by the latest update on the money lender this morning, and especially this fresh morning, these updates are being reported by the Times of India and the Deccan Chronicle, which are here on my desk right now. The restrictions on Yes Bank depositors that were imposed by the RBI moratorium on 5th of March will be soon lifted from the middle of this week. So let's say that around the 18th of March, which is tomorrow, that's Wednesday. So around Wednesday, we may get a respite from the moratorium and the Yes Bank clients can expect some relief. On Saturday, Bandhan Bank and Federal Bank have committed rupees 300 crores each to Yes Bank equity, joining the ranks of 4 other banks and taking the total tally to rupees 10,950 crores. Well, that update puts things into a more positive perspective for Yes Bank, and it looks like the rescue plan, which was initiated by the SBI and the RBI along with the Government of India's support, has finally begun to take a practical shape and is producing some concrete results. That is a good change for Yes Bank customers. Let us hope for things to become even more hopeful than what they are today, and I'm sure that they will. And now, friends, let me tell you, it is the time for the section that we have all been waiting for with bated breath. It is the time for worldwide entertainment news. Turns out that the growing number of hoaxes that are popping up online, from false claims about treatments for the coronavirus infection to fake headlines about celebrities who might have it. Well, these are the stories that are spreading fast. We have also come to realize that the COVID-19 is hell-bent on affecting every sphere and every aspect of life. So how could the entertainment industry and the celebrities be left behind? These are uncertain times for so many people, and as we all know more about the coronavirus, there are bad actors out there who are actually muddying the waters and trying to scam the people, with officials alerting the public and fighting back. This morning, as I was on my way to the CVR English studio, as the number of coronavirus cases are increasing in Telangana, so too do the internet scams and the hoaxes. Like this latest news from a fake BBC Twitter account falsely claiming Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe had tested positive for COVID-19. Now, Radcliffe says that he was pretty surprised when he heard the rumor, and joking, and I would like to quote him here, he said, "I think it's just because I look ill all the time. So you can believably say that about me because I am always looking pale." Thereafter, famous Hollywood actor Tom Hanks, who all of us know, the famous Tom Hanks, officially announced that he and his wife had also tested positive for the coronavirus. Twitter immediately blew up after that. Imagine 20,000 plus retweets of one photo with Hanks quarantined with a volleyball, a nod to his famous character from his movie Castaway. But the photo is not real. If you take a closer look at that photo on Twitter, it's been edited from a picture of Hanks' 2015 New York Rangers game. On Facebook, fake posts offering tips from doctors are also cropping up. Officials are warning the public not to fall for these fake cures being peddled by some companies and individuals, possibly trying to scam consumers with their false claims. Earlier last week, the FTC and FDA have also issued warnings to 7 companies accused of selling unapproved or misbranded products claiming that they can treat or cure COVID-19 with teas, essential oils and colloidal silver. And rumors have also been circulating on social media that mass transit in Telangana would soon shut down. This rumor is so rampant that I have to step up and address it. Well, friends, there is a lot of misinformation on social media right now, and one tweet in particular is very false. Contrary to what it says, there are no plans by the Telangana government to shut down roadways or the Hyderabad metro. Text, email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, and it's there everywhere. This is so frustrating, and especially at a time when there is so much fear and anxiety about this virus, and it puts people at risk, both financially as well as medically and physically. So how do you tell from fact from fiction? I think in medicine, when something sounds too good to be true, it usually is, and I cannot emphasize the importance of this enough. Communication of this misinformation is a part of a bigger irresponsibility towards a global health crisis. And we, as responsible individuals and citizens of our country, need to do all that we can right now to ensure that all of us are safe and not play with each other's health, isn't it? Well, friends, having said that, the headlines today are once again flooded with COVID-19 predominantly, and this is not surprising considering that the total number of COVID-19 positive patients has now exceeded 114. My job is to bring a detailed analysis of these headlines to you so that you don't have to spend any extra time on a newspaper just to catch up with the latest headlines, keeping in mind that all of you are quite busy, all you health and wealth champions out there. Well, the day has just started. There's a lot to accomplish today, a lot to be achieved, and we are also done catching up with the latest headlines of the day to keep us up to date with the world and our nation. You can take on the world only if you are up to date with it. I'm sure that you must be done with your cup of chai or filter coffee as well. Once again, let me remind you, wash your hands with soap and water regularly, practice personal hygiene, avoid shaking hands with one another, stick to the Indian form of greeting one another, say namaste to each other, maintain a reasonable distance from the crowd while traveling in public transport, drink lots of water, keep your throat moist as the COVID-19 is a very sticky virus by nature. It tends to stick to your skin or the internal nasal and food passages, so if you want to flush it out of your system, make sure you are drinking plenty of water. And one more reason why you should do that is that the moment COVID-19 reaches your stomach, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which creates a very acidic environment, does not allow this virus to survive. Also, eat healthy, eat lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, get some vitamin C in your body, get some exercise, sleep well, and keep your immunity up, because right now the scientist friends of KCR are also telling us that your immunity is your best weapon against the coronavirus. And speaking of easing people's fears in this incredibly stressful moment, I have some practical tips for managing your anxiety in this ongoing global health crisis. So how worried should we be? If you ask me, then honestly, yes, we need to be worried about it so that we can take effective preventive measures to safeguard ourselves. But having said that, at a time when we are all being bombarded with scary news about the coronavirus, it is hard not to be anxious. So how do you deal with this anxiety? Here are some practical tips to deal with your anxiety right now. Get some sleep, move your body, even if it is just about taking a small walk. If you are feeling isolated, call a friend or call somebody who you can trust. Stay informed, but don't obsess. And finally, meditation has been shown to help. So stay alert and stay safe. And on that precautionary note, it's time for me to say goodbye to all of you, but only until tomorrow, when we will catch up once again with the latest dose of the hottest headlines from across Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and across the world. Until then, on behalf of CVR English, this is your host Anukriti Govind Sharma signing off. Take care, and once again a very happy and a very bright and a very alert and safe good morning to all of you.